Scooby-Doo, bee-bop-a-doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, bee-bop-a-doo.
On this episode of the History of the Chorus podcast with Curtis and Josh, we finish our look at the black metal band known as Abigail Williams. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Dark clouds cover the sky, blocking the pale, elusive moonlight. A false feeling of protection from that which obscures the perceptual reality. But am I not ready to see beyond the matrix and surrender to the magnificence of my own being and embrace immortality? Welcome back to the History of the Chorus podcast, sponsored by the Church of the Seventh Track, where each and every episode we take a look at the history of a band from the core genre. Curtis. And with me, as always, is my co-host Josh, who honestly, I thought you were about to crap your pants. The way you were running.
Just had to get up and run. No, I had to run Tater out of here.
Get out of
He
here.
came in here squawking and
Oh my goodness. Well, Josh, what's going on, buddy?
we're doing this episode remote from the bathroom.
Oh boy. Please leave the mute off so we can hear everything that is happening.
Please don't turn off the podcast. I promise this won't be a podcast in the bathroom.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, what's been going on, Josh?
Not a lot. Not a lot. It was interesting listening to a lot of this stuff this morning while I was in an empty building by myself with the rain and the thunder and the lightning and a lot of the creepy stuff that goes on in these albums.
Earbuds or speaker?
Earbuds.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you played speaker at work or not, but that early.
It depends, but I was
Yeah.
going earbuds today.
I was too embarrassed to play this band. Yeah.
No, definitely not embarrassed, but
It's interesting. I mean, the turn that we take from, go back to Legend EP and even, in the Shadow of a Thousand Suns to what we end up with here at the end of the discography up to this point. It's very interesting.
I would
Very
argue that
interesting.
Legend is the most black metal they ever get.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Like truly, because a lot of this like super symphonic stuff is not really like a lot of black metal has that essence because there's like somebody playing synth, but it's not its entire thing. So I don't know.
Right.
For me, these two before Walk Beyond the Dark, they're just like Becoming is almost unlistenable to me.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. It
Okay.
may be one of like the worst. It's definitely one of the worst black metal albums I've ever heard.
Wow. Okay.
But
Huh.
yeah, I also don't really think these guys are black metal. That like he has been black metal on and off, and I
So what would
think
you put him in?
dabbles with it, but it's hard to say. He mashes up so many of these like little subgenres together. Like
Okay.
it's symphonic for sure.
Right.
It has some black metal elements. But like even his vocals aren't all the time like black metal.
Yeah, I wish
So
he would have. See, when me and Eric recorded After Hours this afternoon, he brought up the deal of when we were talking about genres and then his vocal style. He brought up that, like, especially like later on, he starts kind of getting to that kind of growl, whereas like in black metal, you're kind of having that higher range,
yeah,
kind of like what we get off of like Legend and such. And so he was like, he was kind of like, I mean, yeah, black metal, but he's like, I'm kind of like feeling like death metal growls here. So he was very like, I don't know what's going on anymore, man. But
I
I
don't
don't know.
think Sir Abigail knows what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not
If I'm
really
going to be
sure.
real with you,
Yeah.
these other two, the Accuser and Becoming, he recorded those himself, right?
All three of these he records by himself.
Okay.
He is the
Well,
producer.
at
Well,
least
let me back up. He is the producer on all three. He does the only one that he does everything by himself is the newest one, Walk Beyond the Dark.
okay.
Because there's still members on Becoming an Accuser. Now, obviously, they're totally different from those two albums. You know what I'm saying? In terms of members, there's a group of members on Becoming, and then there's a totally different group of members on Accuser. And then he's by himself on Walk Beyond the Dark. So again, we're getting into that whole deal of just like, the member change stuff.
Well, I feel like he does finally get to a place with Walk Beyond the Dark where
His
he's found a
thing.
way to make this work.
Okay.
And Becoming an Accuser were definitely trial runs on the way to this.
Okay.
Becoming being the worst of them, and Accuser is like a little bit of a step up, and then Walk Beyond the Dark. Like I liked most of this album. I thought
Okay.
it was pretty solid,
Okay.
but again, Becoming almost unlistenable.
He's building up to that atmosphere. I think they were calling it atmospheric black metal, which me and Eric talked about that too. I'm not really sure exactly what all that. I mean, I think it's pretty much in the name, but I don't
The
know. I
sound of
didn't
the
look too
wind
deep.
and the howling of wolves, Curtis.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Before we get too deep into that, Eric, Josh, let's yeah, let's talk
All
about
right,
what we listened to outside of Abigail Williams this week. Would you like to begin?
I'll tell you, Carl. Let's
You're up.
see. My line.
The faceless. All right, next.
I was talking last week
The
about the
McKenna.
Faceless so
What's
much.
his name? Mike Keene.
Yeah, Michael Keane.
Michael Keene. The Michael Keene Experience.
Yes,
The
Michael Keane and the
faceless. The
Faceless, as I like to call him.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Um, I talked last week. These are the two albums that are just front to back amazing by them. Alcadema and Planetary Duality. I saw them during that would have been Planetary Duality while they were touring that. So there were still like some original members there during that. But yeah, amazing. Great set. Um, yeah, I just wanted to, if I didn't already enough last episode, just wanted to plug those two albums. Just really good front to back, solid. Yep. Well, I mean, and
That's it.
that just led me, from last week. I think it was probably Monday or Tuesday when I was looking for something to listen to. I was like, oh man, I would really like to hear All Dark Graves on Alcadema. So I'm like, okay, I put that on. Like, oh, you know what? Let's just do this whole thing. And then I had to do Planetary Duality all the way through. And then I did the back half of Autotheism. But other than that,
Nice.
you don't need to listen to anything else.
Have you? Yeah, I best say, have you listened to the one that has Ken from Abigail Williams on it? Like Becoming the Ghost or something like that. I
I've
think it's the
listened to that
newest
one.
one.
I know I own that album. But yeah, I didn't think it was good. There were
Yeah.
like a couple tracks on there, I think. Go quick. I want to say there's like one or two on there that I thought were okay. Yeah, Black Star. Bu- 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 Yeah, it might have just been, I think, In Becoming a Ghost and Black Star.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't much on there for me.
Okay. Okay.
What
Nice.
about
The faceless.
you? What did you listen to this week?
I went with a couple of History of the Corps alum. I went with a little Havana New Hope and a little Hail Destroyer from Cancer
Okay.
Bats. So yeah, man, gotta throw on you know the classics there. Get a little taste of bring back some nostalgia from some really early episodes. So yeah, that that is what I listened to this week. So yeah.
Oh,
And maybe something else.
and this.
And I was trying to get where it would be like subliminal messaging, where it would be like real quick. What the? Oh, no, go back, go back. What was that? Alrighty. Let us oh my gosh. That's not good. What is happening? Trying to change your lighting?
I was trying to switch it to the slightly not so blinding ones.
No. We're gonna blast you with light. All right. Let us finish our look at the band, or by the end of it, the
The
solo
man,
project known as
the
Abigail
man known
Williams.
as Abigail Williams.
When we last left off, the lineup was Ken Bergeron on vocals and guitar, Ian Jekalis on guitar, Griffin Wadawa on bass, and Zach Gibson on drums. Don't get used to those names. They're about to get the hell out of here. After a brief touring stint in support of their newest album, the band would waste no time beginning to write and, soon after, record songs for their next album, 2012's Becoming, from Candlelight Records. Produced by frontman Ken Bergeron, it is the only album for bassist Griffin Wadawa and is the last album for drummer Zach Gibson and guitarist Ian Jekalis. Now, Josh, this is interesting based off of what you were saying earlier about this album, what your thoughts were. But originally, this album was planned to be the band's last. So it was going to be their final kiss goodnight, peace out, walk into the darkness, and never be seen again. But due to high praise from fans and critics alike, the band, or Ken, would change their minds and continue to pursue new music. So when you said that you thought this one was trash, that's when I was like, interesting, because everything else I've read, everybody seems to really like it.
Oh, and I would love to see the album sales numbers. This was 2012, and all of these songs have like 40,000 views.
Right. Well, we
Once you
talked
get
about
to
that.
Accuser, that's 2015. That 20,000 on some of these
Yeah,
songs.
start really dipping. Well, let's get into that review, Josh. See what this old reviewer has to say.
Who said it? Bring me their head.
All right. The head of author Jay Andrew of metalinjection.net wrote a short review of the album stating, quote, the band
Injection.
nice. The band has laid down some absolutely brilliant work here. Abigail Williams has crafted
What
an
part?
album.
The track 5 that was a 3-minute soundscape? What
Oh,
what part?
well, let's find out, Josh. Abigail Williams has crafted an album that is filled with dark aggression, yet carries this force through a vast landscape of grim atmospherics and excellent songwriting. They managed to fill the album with a plethora of riffs and lay them on top of drums that speed up and slow down at just the perfect moments to get the listener engaged and eager to hear more. Ken Sorceron has the
That's just a
mid-range.
song. You're just describing a song.
Right? There's a chorus and then the verse, and then there's a chorus and then there's a bridge. Yeah.
This album has it all, guys. Choruses and
And
verses.
verses.
There's guitars on this one. Can you believe it? Has this guy never heard music?
Frontman Ken Sorceron has the mid-range snarl befitting of a black metal vocalist, but he keeps things interesting with an occasional spurt of deeper growls. Neither does the album stay in any sort of rut, as there are plenty of moments when the atmosphere is broken by energetic bursts, like the headbanging chug in the middle of Infinite Fields of Mind. In many ways, the album reminds me of Agalic's newer material, and at other times of more purely atmospheric black metal bands. Some parts actually make me think of Leviathan. Maybe it was the effects surrounding the vocals. Becoming contains a wealth of moods, both grim and triumphant, creating an album filled with the dramatic depth and a fantastic listen from start to finish. I'd say it was both a great way to start 2012 and the perfect soundtrack for the winter of any year. Songs on this album include Ascension Sickness, Radiance, Celestial, Infinite Fields of Mind, 3 Days of Darkness, and the finale, Beyond the Veil, with the bonus track, Akasha. All right, Josh, let me hear it. You loved this album, didn't you?
Let me start by
You're
saying
just putting on airs.
I'm not the biggest black metal person. So somebody
the three of
who
us,
is-
yeah, let's say the three of us were all the same, yeah.
Yeah, somebody who's all in on black metal might be more into this album. You know, you throw this album on, you paint your face, you light nothing but candles in your apartment. Maybe it's good for that. I don't know.
Little incense.
But it's just a really boring album. Like really, really boring. And one of the things that I feel like is so highly associated with black metal is like the brutal aspect of it, you know? Like it's supposed to sound brutal as hell. And this does not. This is just some weird soundscapes with like a few random heavier riffs thrown in. I don't know. This album did nothing for me. I listened to it a few times through, just did nothing for me.
Maybe we want to talk about brutal. Let's go back to Legend. That's a great album.
Yeah, Legend's brutal as hell.
Legend. Ugh. I miss Legend. Can we just talk about 2-part episode of Abigail Williams just all on Legend? Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested by the atmospheric black metal genre just because I feel like it's going to be kind of close to like the instrumental music that I listen to, you know, like the post rock stuff and post metal, just because it's like you're trying to build like this space. And I agree with what you said earlier about it feels like this album and the next one is really kind of a trial run for what ends up being Walk Beyond the Dark, you know.
Yeah, Walk Beyond the Dark has a lot of elements of this in it, but it's done right. And like it's not just this.
Right. My problem still is just like I talked about in the last episode, nothing really like I don't have a problem with these 3 albums at all, really, but like nothing stands out to me still. I'm not like, oh, I love that, you know?
Right.
So it still just feels like a generic fill in the blank genre album, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, maybe I'm just like asking too much of this genre. Again, again, I'm not expecting it to be like the poppiness of, you know, Coheed and Cambria,
Right.
or the infectious, sing along. I'm not expecting that at all, but I would expect that. I mean, they did it on Legend. All 5 songs got me in there, and those songs get stuck in my head. None of these songs get stuck in my head. Nothing
Yeah.
strikes a chord in my heart.
Nothing.
Nothing. So, yeah. I also wondered, vocally, is he trying to do some cupping? Because there sounded like there was some cupping at times.
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know.
It's hard to tell because we know he's using like vocal effect too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of Eric's complaints on these 3 albums was he felt like there was way too much echo put onto his vocals.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think so. But
These are
all
not,
right.
I would say this one is like a little bit better produced than the next one. Accuser.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, it's a little better produced than Accuser.
I
Accuser
think
is
yeah,
like
I feel like he was trying some different things, like experimenting production wise. I told Eric,
Accuser
I
just sounds
said,
so flooded. Like he's got everything's like at the wrong volume in the production.
yeah. Well, I told Eric, I said, it felt like at times he's almost trying to do like what Zayo did with Fear Keeps Us Here. Like he's almost trying to do a live album because it sounds
Yeah.
so like jumbled at times. Like you were saying. It's like, is he trying to? I don't know. It's kind of weird. No,
This this
not as
album sounds
harsh
like
as Fear is what keeps us here, but because
right.
that was pretty harsh. But
I was gonna say
yeah,
this album sounds like a tribute to Converge.
Accuser,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah, okay, I can see
Like
that.
everything's so like
Just
just thrown in there. Yeah.
stuffed in the tiny box.
One
Yeah,
take, done.
done. Next. Yeah. All right. Well, that's 2012's Becoming. One trash album down, another to go in Josh's book. All right. With positive reception, except for Josh, from their newest album, Coming in, the band would head out on tour supporting the Norwegian black metal band Mayhem. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, that is the worst look that could ever, yeah, because trust me, I've tried it and I hate it. It's like, it makes me feel like I'm an alien with a big fat head. You look like a pope or a
I know
cardinal.
it's like a bishop or something, like one of those guys that has like the
Yeah, nice. So you're the bishop. Either that or it looks like you're wearing one of those big flat bill caps with the hood on.
oh
Nice.
yeah.
I'm a bro. You look like you're in early Emir.
Early Amir.
Anyway, yeah. They would head out on tour supporting the Norwegian black metal band Mayhem across the states, along with Hate and Keeping of Calician, I guess. I don't know. European. Who cares? With more positive reviews coming in, the band would declare a headlining tour would commence across the states, being supported by Dark Funeral and Decide. 2014 would see the band make major lineup changes as guitarist Ian Jekyll would be replaced by Jeff Wilson, who originally joined the band in place of former bassist Griffin Wadwa, along with a few randos before Will Lindsay would join on bass to record for the next album. While for the time being, the band would use a live session musician for drums, eventually settling on Charlie Fell for drums. After several years of lineup changes and touring here and there, the band would begin to write and record music for their next album, 2015's The Accuser, from Candlelight Records. Produced once again by frontman Ken Sorceron. This is the only album for guitarist Jeff Wilson, bassist Will Lindsay, and drummer Charlie Fell. Easy come, easy go. Excuse me. Author Author Thom Urich of AllMusic.com wrote in his review of the album, quote, few bands have undergone as many sonic twists and turns and lineup changes as Abigail Williams. Guided by a lone mainstay Ken Sorceron, they've shape shifted with each subsequent recording. 2012's Becoming was one of the more compelling extreme music releases of that year, a sprawling exercise in brutally atmospheric post-psychedelic blackened metal. The Accuser features almost an entirely new studio lineup. Sorceron, once a member of Lord Mantis, recruited its former drummer Charlie Fell, also of Cobalt, and bassist Will Lindsay from Indian, along
He said
with
that like it was a
guitarist.
feature, Curtis. He said that like
What's
it was a
that?
feature.
What?
Hey, guys, this one's got a whole new group for you.
A whole new
Like the way he
group!
phrased it was like that was a good thing. Like, what?
Oh man.
Bunch of fresh faces now.
New sound, new faces, new sound. There are no keyboards. Tracks like the opener Path of Broken Glass and Lost Communion are among the most brutal, unhinged tracks in the band's history. The screaming high register vocals, shard like tremolo, picking and blast beat drums contribute to each cut's ever increasing ferocity. Of the Outer Darkness begins with distorted feedback before seemingly taking the same approach. Then, an elongated guitar and bass breakdown about halfway through transforms it into a slower, much heavier jam. Wish, Will, and Desire, with cascading guitars, pulsing bass line, and swirling melody, is almost a hard rocker, but the triple-time double bass drumming and Sorceron's vocals howling through the backdrop like wind shove it over into extreme music territory. On the cold lines, Fell doesn't enter for 45 seconds, but when he does, he swings like former AC/DC drummer Phil Rudd through the blackened attack. In the intro to closer Pneumite, the band experiments with Italian spaghetti western atmospherics a la composers Stelvio Cipriani and Nico Finincio, as Earth did some years ago. But this is merely a means to an end because it gives way to a dark, illergic, nice, it brings on a dirge. How about that? Fell offers nearly motoric snare and bass drums. Sorcerer, also the engineer, colors with tight, bright reverb. Droning basso profundo backing chorus, slide and tremolo guitar lines, power chords, and bass line playing only chord changes frame a haunting melody to those bare bones constructs of the Sisters of Mercy and fields of the Nephilim. But it's all metal. Over the album's 8 tracks, Abigail Williams balances exponentially more brutally than in the past, but it's entwined with haunted, dreadful, sinister beauty. The Accuser extends even what Becoming accomplished with denser harmonic ideas that serve to sharpen the band's already complex sonic and dynamic signatures. Together, they work to create an album far more twisted, nightmarish, and ultimately musical. Songs on this album include Path of Broken Glass, The Cold Lines of the Outer Darkness, Will, Wish, and Desire, Godhead, Forever Kingdom of Dirt, Lost Communion, and the finale, Pneumite. All right, Josh, giving us a little taste, but give us the full platter. 2015's The Accuser.
What's up with this album artwork?
I don't know. That's what I was going to order too.
Isn't that stuff? Isn't that stuff related with like Hinduism?
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. I mean, it almost kind of makes me think of like henna tattoo type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It always makes you think of like a snake, kind of. I don't know.
This is always
it
kind
is
of an off
interesting, though.
album cover for them. I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but this doesn't really fit the vibe.
So speaking of album artwork, let's go back to Becoming real quick.
I do like the one for Becoming, like the
Uh,
stained glass and everything.
yeah, what is that though?
I don't know.
Looks
Person?
like I told Eric, I said it looks like a praying mantis. Because look at the hands. I
Oh yeah.
was like, looks like a
Oh yeah,
praying
I
mantis.
think it
Because
is
he
like the
goes,
face and everything.
because he goes, oh, maybe it's Abigail Williams. And I looked at, it, I was like, that looks like a praying mantis.
Yeah, no, with the hands and the face, like for sure.
Yeah. But then it looks like it's got like a stinger, like a bee stinger or a wasp stinger. I don't know.
Chris, I think we've
Interesting.
established that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't
I don't know what this
know
thing
what's
is,
going
but
on.
I do like the stained glass. I think that's pretty cool. Um,
I think the one for
yeah.
Walk Beyond the Dark, like this is where we start hitting our stride a little bit, you know? Like he
Okay.
figures it out. He figures out everything that he had right about these last two albums. He also figures out the album artwork, like gets his vocals in a place I like a little bit better.
Okay. I'll go ahead and ask you now then, because I was going to wait till the end.
Uh-huh.
Out of all okay, in the last episode, I asked you the first three albums that we talked about. What was your favorite album artwork? It was Legend. Now put these three in there. What's your
Pr-
favorite? What's your favorite artwork?
probably still Legend, but I think
Okay.
Walk Beyond the Dark would be close.
Okay. Okay. I just feel like Legend
Legend
is
Legend
Abigail Williams,
says
man.
Abigail Williams, and that
Yes.
says black metal.
Right. Yes, I agree. I agree. But anyway, let's go back to Accuser. I do like the fact that they named it because you go back to the last episode where we talked about the name, where the name came from, and that was a big subject of the quote. I have it here somewhere. Hold on, because I had it for.
Is this supposed to be Abigail Williams accuser?
Well, so the quote was why they picked the name Abigail Williams was because the accuser is all quote the accuser is always relevant in society. In America, there were the witch trials, the Red Scare, and now terrorism. Everyone is always quick to point a finger. We do it out of fear, prejudice, and because of things we don't understand. So the accuser will always be present in society.
Okay.
Abigail Williams really stuck out to us, not only due to the above mentioned, but also because it possessed that iconic quality while still sounding very American. So I think I do kind of like the fact that it's kind of a tip of your cap to the band name and the history of the name
Yeah.
and such. But yeah, the album artwork though is pretty strange, like like a big not montage, but uh I can't think of the word. Collage type. Kaleidoscope collage.
Yeah.
But anyway. So it's the muffled or not maybe not muffled, but just the well, the other thing too that I was gonna say about the live sound in my mind was there's a lot of the songs start with that feedback. I was like, okay, are they really trying to go for like a live sound here with that? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They was playing into the feedback quite a bit in this one.
You know, the other thing too that's weird is if you go online and you try to look up this album, like there's like no information on it. Like you go to like the lyric websites and it would have every album for Abigail Williams except for this one.
Huh.
I don't know why. It's really weird that it's like everybody just kind of like writes this one off or I don't know, just like didn't want to talk about it. Not really
Yeah.
sure what's up with that. But
Weird.
yeah. Anyway. What say you on Accuser, Josh?
This is a step in the right direction. Listen to this one a few times
Better than
and
Becoming?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
So there
lot
is a
better than
progression.
Becoming.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
a
didn't
lot
know if you
better
were
than
saying there
Becoming.
was like the same or if it was actually a little bit of progression.
No, it's progressed for sure. Um, the only thing is like, yeah, I said that the mix is not very good. But you know, I don't really know exactly if that was like kind of, you know, it's like you were saying, I don't know if that's what he was going for.
I would just kind of write it up as he's experimenting.
Yeah.
Whether it was again the deal of like what I said or just overall trying to experiment with like a different sound or whatever. Because my like listening for me, like when they come in on Path of Broken Glass, it felt very, and I think the production helps with this. It felt very chaotic, and so I wonder if the production kind of goes in with that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Of course, the name Path of Broken Glass, that's it's pretty sick.
I think Path of Broken Glass, Wish, Will, and Desire, and
Yeah, I was thrown on Will
God.
Wish and Desire. I was thrown off by that happy guitar sound. I can't remember where at in the song it is, but there's a part where it's kind of like a lighter guitar power chord. I was like, what
There's
the?
it's for a good chunk of the song.
Okay.
And then New Might, I feel like was really good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The freaking I timed it. Blast beats on Of the Outer Darkness for the first 4 minutes straight. That had me hurting just listening to it. I was like, oh God, hurts my arms.
That was 4 minutes straight?
It was 4 minutes straight of blast beats, dude.
And that was Of the Outer Darkness?
Of the Outer Darkness, yeah. I was like, ow! God. Yeah.
I mean, it's not straight because there's fills.
Well, you got to get through the feedback first.
No, I did. Even at like 35 seconds, there's like he's like going for a minute, and then there's like a fill, and then like back to it, and then a fill.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's some fill there.
Jesus. Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, there's no way.
Just but I mean, still, it's continuous,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Dude, it's my ankles. It makes my ankles hurt.
God, man.
What say you of this album?
I do like the fact though that he went back for it's that high pitch range of vocals where it kind of takes me back to Legend a little bit, where it's kind of that kind of choking sound. The strangulation.
See, that's his lane, man, and I wish he would just stay in it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of when he does the deep growls, especially like I think it's early parts of Walk Beyond the Dark. And it may be a production thing too, but it just sounds very like, this kind of sounds cheesy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay. Again, I mean, I have no problem with any of these 3 albums on this episode, but again, nothing really stands out too much to me. And I'm kind of like with you of what you're saying about like I like the idea of people trying to record like a live sounding album if that's really what he was trying to go for. But at the same time, there are times I'm like, what is going on with this production, man? But I don't know.
Yeah, the production's not great, but when I listened to it, I could tell it made me excited to listen to the next one.
Okay.
Because I could feel a progression. I was like, okay, I want to see. He's got like 4 years in between those last 2 albums, so I was like, I am really eager to get into that one. And then once I did, I was like, yeah, okay, this has me drawn back now.
Okay.
Like that album is the culmination of the 2 before it.
Okay. Cool. Well, it'll be interesting to see because I was telling Eric, I said, you have to think timeline wise, we probably should be coming up on another album here pretty quick. So
if he's still doing it.
Oh, as far as I know, he is. I think he's been touring, so.
Show me the album, Curtis.
What album?
You know who else was touring? Maylin and the Sons of Disaster. Show me the album, Curtis. Show me the album.
I think we're talking about 2 different things here.
Show me the album.
Show me the album. No, I do that. Okay. Oh, okay. Show me. No, I'm sorry, I can't. You know
Show
what?
me the
Just do
album.
it. All right. Well, that is 2015's The Accused. All right. While a short tour.
You mean me?
While a short tour would commence in support of the newest album, vocalist Ken Sorceron would be recruited to become the new vocalist of the band, Michael Keane and the Faceless.
He was doing vocals for them?
Yeah.
Oh, so he did vocals on
Yes, and becoming
Becoming
a Ghost.
a Ghost? Oh
Yep.
my, what?
Yeah, that's why I was asking that. No, I wasn't gonna be like, what'd you think of his bass work, Josh, on him becoming a ghost?
Right.
Yeah, that was him on 2017's Faceless album, In Becoming a Ghost. But soon after, Josh, much like every other member in the Faceless, he would leave the band.
I flipped
Go
over
ahead.
there on Black Star. He's like, dark light into the void, into the void. Because Michael Keaton starts doing all that weird, like, singing stuff on this album.
Ugh.
He gets rid of the vocoder and he starts doing some terrible singing on this album.
Oh no. So what you're telling me is some terrible choices were made.
Okay, I could hear that.
What was
I can see
what
that
was
being
that song?
him, but he is like, he's changing his style for sure.
Is it the very beginning where he starts doing that?
It's just like, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds in.
Oh. Hmm. Ugh.
I'll say this though, Michael
Yeah.
Keane can write a riff.
Well, maybe he should just stick to that.
I would listen to the Faceless if they were just an instrumental, like for sure.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So 2017's In Becoming a Ghost. Soon after, leaving in early 2018, along with several other members. Leaving the Faceless with one remaining member. It's weird. I
Michael
kind of wonder
Keane,
what's going on with that, man.
the
They not
drug
like
addict
him?
Michael Keane.
Close the door, man. Can't you
Chris, I
see
don't
we're
know if
doing
you
drugs
knew
in
this.
here?
I don't know if you knew this, but heroin's a hell of a drug.
I always thought it was cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Not for Michael Keane.
Oh, man. Now free to return to his roots, Ken would revive Abigail Williams with intentions of releasing new music. But this time, Josh, he would do it alone. Later releasing 2019's Walk Beyond the Dark from Blood Music Records. Produced by the frontman, Ken Sorceron. And Ken Sorceron would contribute most of the music on the album, with a few session musicians sprinkled in as well. All right, Josh, here we go with a review. Dr. Angrier of AngryMetalGuy.com wrote a review on the latest album stating, quote, "What I discovered when I first listened to Walk Beyond the Dark, which had me doubling back to find when I realized I missed it, was that it was fantastic for no particular reason. The only way I can describe it is with the old right place, right time argument. This is not a common scenario in the frenzy of putting together a top 10 list. That time remains for the albums I've already listened to, and there's rarely time for any new music in the final weeks of December. But closing out the year without giving Walk Beyond the Dark a listen was not an option. It took 1 minute of one track to convince me that this new record deserves a spot on my year-end list. Had I more time to absorb it, as I do now, Walk Beyond the Dark would have been more than an honorable mention. Regardless, that 1 minute turned into 55, and that single track turned into 7. Then, once it ended, I started all over again. Like the accuser, Walk Beyond the Dark is a dense outing that seems to grow darker and thicker as one progresses. I Will Depart opens with power and emotion that helps to orient you to the sharp rasp and bludgeoning riffs that'll act as your shadow throughout the trek. It's a riff fest that combines second wave chaos with the modern chuggery of Saturgon. It's so packed with riffs that you'll mistake the introduction of Sun and Moon as another transition. That's until you feel the tribal drum work and moody tromping that is the livelihood of bands like Tool and Cobalt. The opener and Sun and Moon are an unbeaten duo. That's until you arrive at Black Waves and Into Sleep. While the previous two tracks unleash a riff-laden aggressiveness like none other on the album, these latter two change the wind. Out of the blue, strings strike up a tune akin to the nightmares of Nick Cave's The Road soundtrack. By the way, I don't know if I've ever told you, but what's the movie with Jared Leto that you watched the one time? It's your movie where it's like, I'm never going to touch it again.
Um,
Oh man, yeah, what is
Requiem
that
for
called?
a Dream.
Yeah, well, The Road is my Requiem for a Dream. Have you seen The Road?
No.
Do not watch it, dude. It will make you so depressed. Oh God, yeah.
Who all's in that?
Viggo Mortensen. It's a
Oh,
post-apocalyptic deal.
just Viggo Mortensen?
Well, I think he's really the only one because there's very few characters because again, it's a post-apocalyptic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the main guy, and then he has a son who's not anybody. But I think like the only other person that was like a big name in it was oh shoot. What's the old man on oh now I can't even think of that movie. It's a Western with Kevin Costner. Um oh God.
Yellowstone.
No. No. Hell no. No. Oh my gosh. We both like this movie. It's kind of an older one. Not like old,
With
but
Kevin Costner?
yeah. They're like uh
Dances with Wolves?
no, that's too old. Too far, too far.
It's
No, hold
too
on a
far?
second. Yeah, it's too far back. It was in the
With
2000s.
Kevin Costner.
Yep.
It's not
Hold
the
on,
one
I'm
with
gonna get this.
Leonardo DiCaprio and
No,
the
and he's
big
not in that.
Russell
He's not in that
Crowe.
movie. No,
Okay.
I'm talking about Open Range.
Open Range. Okay.
Yeah. Oh God, what is that guy's name? Why are you not showing his name? Weird. I would think he'd be like one of the first guys on there.
Well, anyway, before
Very
we
strange.
move on,
Robert Duvall. God dang it.
I can
Robert
tell you
Duvall. That's
right
what I'm talking
now,
about.
the
Anyway.
things that are so depressing about Requiem are the fact that like Jared Leto's a crackhead. He steals from his mom like all the time. Um, his girlfriend ends up becoming a prostitute at the end of the movie. His friend is stuck in like a prison like work camp in the South, and he's black, so it like they make it out like it's just going to be really really bad for him. And then Jared Leto gets his arm cut off because um, his fucking veins get all fucked up from shooting up,
Ugh.
and yeah, he has to have his arm fucking amputated. What is so depressing about the road?
It's post-apocalyptic and there's no hope. I mean, hell,
Right.
it's like they're living in a world of cannibals. There's one part where it's like they go into this house to like try to like ransack it, and they get into they go down into the basement, and there's just like naked people everywhere that are like held prisoners by these cannibals that are eating them.
Oh my God.
It's not good. It's
This
just,
really focuses on the cannibalism thing.
yeah,
Why are
yeah.
people eating each other?
There's nothing else to eat.
There's literally everything else to eat.
No, it's post-apocalyptic, dude.
Right. So what happened? An event that destroyed
There's some,
all
yeah, but
food?
that's
Like
no,
what?
but that's the thing about it is just
You
go look
can
it up.
grow
Quit asking
crops.
me
You
and go look.
can.
No, you cannot. Not in this world. Go look it up, moron. All right, back to the review. Thanks for
Not in this
destroying that.
screenplay. Not in
While
this
there are hints
screenplay.
of clean corals in the opener, they spread like blood into black waves and into the sleep. It's the kind of combination most symphonic bands would kill to achieve, but many never will. But this black richness only grows from here, combining all the dark emotion into a mighty conclusion. That conclusion being the 11-minute masterpiece, the final failure. This thing holds more melodic passion within it than all the Accuser combined. It has rasp, deathly barks, and powerful cleans, supported by barraging riffs, thick strings, and some of the best bass/drum work on the album. It's a gorgeous payoff to a journey that's as draining as a therapy session. Walk Beyond the Dark is the outcome I've been waiting for since first dipping my fingers into the fires of Abigail Williams. It's a massive achievement that many will agree with and others will not. Such is the nature of a band that has evolved and reinvented itself as many times as Abigail Williams. Side with Greer or not, this is an outstanding release from Sorceron, with songwriting and instrumental prowess that no one can ignore. If I were to start 2019 over, Walk Beyond the Dark would be in my top 10 6 months before its release. Songs on this album include I Will, Depart, Sun and Moon, Ever So Bold, Black Waves, Into the Sleep, Born of Nothing, and the finale, The Final Failure. So it came together for you, Josh, on this album, huh?
It came together for me.
Came together. Let's hear it, Josh.
Sorry, I was watching a trailer for The Road.
What do you think?
Looks weird. It looks like if the world's this dilapidated, there shouldn't be anyone left alive.
Well, you know.
Especially these two well-kept looking people. So really,
well,
let
me just say this too. When you watch it late at night, right before you go to sleep, not a good idea. You just lay there on your side going, oh God.
That's the spot I was in with Requiem. The first time I watched it, it was probably like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And the movie ended, and I remember just laying there being like, should I just kill myself now or
or later?
Like, yeah, just like, wow. Like, yeah, and that was probably like the most depressing thing I had seen up until that point. It was just like, just like leaves you feeling so empty after the movie. Terrible, terrible stuff.
But not this album.
I like this album all the way through. I Will Depart comes in super strong. Black Waves, I really liked that one, mostly instrumental. There wasn't a point in the album where I was like, okay, yeah, maybe not. It stays strong all the way through. And I do kind of like the little formula he has. He's only doing like 7 tracks an album. Or it's like 7, or I don't remember how many. Becoming has 6. And then I think The Accuser has 7 also, right? No, The Accuser has 8. So I like this range, and then he makes most of the songs pretty long, so you're not getting shorted really.
Well, and then again, not every song does this, but you do have good transitions from it's not just start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So and I think that goes along with the atmospheric black metal where it's like you're trying to build this space and it's not just, again, here's this song, and then here's this song, and then here's this song. It's all like one big picture.
Yeah.
It's art. It's
It's
avant-garde,
art.
Josh. You just don't understand. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No,
it's good. It's good. Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if he can build off of this.
I honestly, dude, would like for him to just leave it here.
I mean, I will say the song titles "I Will Depart" and "The Final Failure" kind of give you a sign where it's like, hey, maybe you should just leave it here, bro. And I don't mean that as a dig. It's just like, it's kind of like a sign of like, yeah, peace out.
Well, it's like this is what you were searching for
Right.
over the back half of his career in this band. And I don't know, why not just go out on a high note like that? You want to do something else? Do something else, but
Nobody can do that, Josh. Who who wants to go out on a high note?
me,
Yeah, but here's the thing about it. We're all human and we all think, no, I can top that. I can do better. Whoa, one more album, man.
no, you got
And
to know
then
when to walk away.
and then you end up getting an otherness, you know? So,
Ugh.
yeah. Uh, that album artwork haunts me to this day. Freaking
That
creepy.
is the most unlistenable album that we've ever covered.
Oh man. Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, like I said before, we should be coming up if he's gonna put out more music, we should be coming up on timetable wise for a new album. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll get something and if he can build off of this. Or if he'll just take Josh's advice from listening to this episode and be like, yeah, you know what? This guy's right. Maybe I should go do something else now.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Maybe I should have been that pool builder like I always wanted to be back in the day. Yeah. Go build some pools. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. Alrighty. That is 2019's Walk Beyond the Dark. After release of the newest album, Sorcerin would recruit several live musicians to join him on tour in support of Walk Beyond the Dark, with such bands as Insephirum, Kalma, and Anonymous. The beginning of 2020 saw plans being laid for a new tour, but those plans would be put on hold as the world would stop for something called COVID-19. I don't know what the hell that is, but
Never
whatever.
heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Moving on.
Moving on. Since post-pandemic, the band has contributed or continued to tour off and on, and one would think, again, like I said earlier, that a new album might be coming in the near future. Something I mentioned on the last episode was every time we got new members, it seemed like he was getting more European named members. Like the crazier the names were good were being, the further we got into it. And you made the comment too of where the hell is he finding all these guys in Arizona?
Right.
But
Yeah, where
now
are you
I
finding
think
all these Norwegians in Arizona?
right now, as we go even further, it feels like the bands that he's touring with keep getting like more and more European sounding. These freaking names. So anyway, all right. So we're gonna leave it off. Current lineup is Ken Sorceron on everything. If you can name it, he's playing it. So
Kim
yeah.
Sorceron and the Abigail Williams is
Is. All right, Josh, give me your final thoughts on the band Abigail Williams.
it's a roller coaster, that's for sure.
What's your
Uh,
entry point? Do you have an entry point? I mean, it's kind
if
of
you're
all over the
into
place,
this,
man.
there's not really an entry point. I think you just like start at the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's for me, it's the Legend EP, Walk Beyond the Dark, and then I also really liked In the Shadow of a Thousand Suns. Um, but yeah, there's just like too big of a block in the middle here where it's just kind of meh. The Accuser
Mer.
starts to come back around. but they don't have as much downtime as some of the bands we've covered who might have like 3 albums in the middle or something that are all just terrible.
Right. It's more of a transition. Alrighty, let's make our way on out of here, Josh. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @SurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Corps After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast. And we talk about the bands me and Josh have already covered, more of an in a interview style, and we'll have a brand new episode later on this week all about the band Abigail Williams. So be on the lookout for that. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons of the BBC/Netflix hit show, The Peaky Blinders. And we will be having a movie update at the end of this year. So be on the lookout for that episode. Also, we have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered season 1 and season 2 of HBO's House of the Dragon. And next summer, we'll be covering season 1 of HBO's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And in the meantime, we'll have some off-season episodes for you. Maybe. Eventually. I don't know.
They're coming.
Okay.
They're coming.
Wait, they're coming.
The dragons are coming.
Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Gary. It's right there, right below him. Look at it. It's beautiful. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube. Or Josh's blank stare. Head on over to our YouTube. I'm waiting for the drool to come out. Jeez. I mean, have a little personality. Nice. Oh, make sure to head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survived by Productions. That'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Alrighty, Josh, until the next episode where we're talking about the beatdown hardcore band, Bury Your Dead. We'll see you.